What's up? All right, guys, how you doing? I hope you are well. Good to be back on here. It's been a quiet few months in terms of the training. I had some issues with access to the group. It was Christmas, New Year, those kind of things. So took a little break from these, but it's really nice to be back now, and I am looking forward to delivering some killer value in this group for 2022. Hope you're all doing good. Do let me know in the comments if there are any specific topics that you want me to go over. So this is really, really important. I obviously go off my own research, I go off what people are saying, I go what I think is useful. But if there's any questions that you have around how to sell, market, price, video, photography, CGI, any visual kind of content creation, please do drop them in the group, drop your questions in the group, drop it in the comments, and we will do trainings on those. Ultimately, I want to make these as useful as possible for everybody in the community. So do let me know what you need. All right. Okay, so today we're going to talk about email, cold email. We're going to do a series on email in terms of how to actually monetize an email list. But today we're going to look just at cold email, which is often quite misunderstood, underutilized. It's got a bad rep. And I'm going to go into some ways that we can actually start to use it very effectively, very simply, to generate actual, real, tangible results for business. Now, problem with cold email, especially in a business to business context, is it can be very hard to get the right email for the person who makes the decisions within the business. So you'll all have had that experience. You go in the company that you'd love to work with, you look for the email contact, you've got a phone, which will probably go to the person at reception. You've also got an info at or contact at email address, and it's not going to get you in front of the person that matters. Not such an issue when you're working with sort of solopreneurs or sole traders, small businesses. Oftentimes you can kind of, because of the level of complexity within that business, you can still get in front of the person you need to. But as soon as you start looking at larger companies, when it starts getting a little bit more complex, then we run into this issue of gatekeepers and how do we even get the eyes of the people that matter onto our service offering. So I'm going to give you a little tip for that today, as no matter what anybody says, email has such a powerful place in marketing strategy, whether you're B2B, B2C, whatever your business structure might be. The reason is everybody has an email address. Every client that you want to work with is contactable via email. And one of the key benefits of going directly to their inbox is you're not at the mercy of an algorithm to get their eyes on what you do. So all you have to do is to write a catchy subject line to get them to open and send it to the right email address, and you're going to get their eyes on what you can offer. So yeah, let's jump into it now and look at how we can actually start to utilize it to get really effective, powerful results. All right. Now, the first thing to mention in terms of how I practice cold email and how I utilize email in my marketing strategy and how I teach other people to utilize it as well is it's never the first point of contact. And this is a really, really important thing to mention. So I always, and I bang on about it in this group as well, but I always advocate going through LinkedIn first or another social channel first, depending on your client avatar, depending on the market you work with, where they're most active and how you can contact them. The reason for that is that social profiles give you an opportunity to build out a persona. You've got your avatar there, you've got your bio there, you've got way more context that you can build out around what you do and what you offer than just via an email, where it's just your email address, and it's harder to personalize that contact. That said, there's an email or video messaging guide in this group, which is brilliant for cold email contact because it personalizes that contact. So if you want me to drop, sorry, I'm lost the ability to speak today. So if you want me to tag you in that video, then please do drop a comment under this one, because you can definitely use that in your email sequences to people once you've got the right email address, and I'll show you how to do that shortly. But what like I said, always advocate is first getting them on a social channel, trying to connect with them on a social channel, trying to contact them there, really engage with them via Messenger. It's much more fluid, it's much more personalized, and then bring email into it as a follow-up strategy. Okay, so the first question, the most important one, is how do we get people's emails? So there's loads of tools that will do email scraping, that will do email lists for you. Well, some of them are decent. I don't necessarily advocate using them at the moment because they're quite expensive, and they often get quite a convoluted process, because what they'll do is they'll go and give you a large email database, which you then have to take to another platform to clean, because loads of those emails aren't really in use. And it's a convoluted, long process that I don't really want to get into. It's not something that I use myself. There's something much, much, much simpler that people can use, and it does a great job. All right, so let me share my screen with you a second. So it's something so simple. And like I mentioned, you should always be going through a social platform first, and ideally through LinkedIn, as you guys are business to business. You may use other platforms in the follow-up as well, but you want to make sure that you're trying to connect with people on LinkedIn first, because it's business to business platform. People are there to find things that will benefit them directly, professionally, and they're more visible in terms of their decision-making power, how they fit into their organization than anywhere else. So the first thing you should do is connect with them there. What you can do once you have the connection is you can go to their contact info over here, and you can get their email address. So 9 times out of 10, you'll be able to get the email address for, let's just take an example here. Yep. So you can definitely go into any contact who's a first degree connection, and you'll be able to see their email address. Now, there are tools that let you do this and let you scrape these as well. Depends. If there's enough interest, I might run a workshop on how to automate some of these processes, but I'm going to show you how to do them manually for now, as it's enough often for most people's needs. So like I said, once you connect, let's go back to my profile. First of all, try and initiate the conversation on LinkedIn if you can. Also, what you can do then is take their email address and go over to your email. Obviously, I'm going to be sending it to myself. So I would have tried to message this person first on LinkedIn, right? And my first message to them is literally just trying to get their eyes back over on my LinkedIn messaging so I can continue the conversation over there. Because if I get the conversation over here, like I mentioned, they're going to see who I help, how I help them. They're going to see my face. They're going to potentially scroll down, and they're going to come look here at my recommendations and my case studies. They've got a whole kind of wealth of information that's going to help build trust and credibility around what I offer. An email, they're not necessarily going to get that, like I mentioned, unless you go straight in with a video message, which arguably you could. And in that video message, remember, there's a guide in the group, I can tag you in that, but you would lay out these same kind of value proposition, who you help, how you help them. You'd be able to screen share people that you've helped and build up that credibility that way. However, I still think it's easier to go through LinkedIn like this. So the first message is really, really that, okay? Just wondering if you've got my question over on LinkedIn. You could say something like, any thoughts? Nice little CTA. Now, there's an amazing tool, which I love, called GMass, and I highly advocate getting this for your email outreach. GMass is a scheduling and tracking tool. It's free up to 50 emails a day, and it's got these phenomenal capabilities, which I'm going to show you in this video. So what it allows you to do first up is you can schedule when things are going to go out. So you can sit there and do all this on the weekend and have all your emails going out on a Monday. Really, really nice functionality there. So schedule, first of all. And this is my favorite feature that they've got, which is a little follow-up sequence. So if the person hasn't replied to your email after a couple of days, you can send them a little message. Hey, the message is about how your niche. So for example, you want to work with people in health and fitness. So people in health and fitness can achieve desirable results, so grow their business using video. Is that something you're open to discussing at all? And send another little reply after 5 days if they haven't done that. And just wondering if you saw this, quality of video is okay to send it here. So by this stage, you can be trying to maybe, if they're not going to look at the LinkedIn, they're not going to engage with you there, you could be looking at trying to move the conversation over here and get a response from them, basically. And that's all we're really, really looking for at this stage is a response, trying to engage and trying to move them on to that next step, which is always from DMing, from emailing, is always going to be not always, mostly going to be a face-to-face meeting over Zoom or somewhere else. So this is a phenomenal tool. And then what you do is you, instead of sending, you go with your little GMass button. It will schedule it for you if you scheduled it. It will keep an eye on those follow-ups for you. And let's have a little look over here. And then what you can start to do is you can start to track those things, how people have engaged with it. You can see the opens, see the clicks and those kind of things, which is great. So that's how I kind of incorporate email into my strategy. It's very simple. Its goal is normally to get their eyes back onto LinkedIn, unless they're really, really not engaging with me on LinkedIn, in which case I might continue the conversation via email. It's great because it allows you to track how people are engaging with it, the same as you'd be able to on a social platform. You can do follow-ups. You can automate that process quite nicely in a way that you can't always do when you're working by LinkedIn, where it's harder to automate those things. And yeah, keeping it really simple, making sure that we're actually going to the right person and we're trying to get their eyes back onto the platform where we've connected with them. You can arguably use this, like I said, as a strategy in its own right. So if you haven't connected with them on LinkedIn, there are tools where you can actually get their email addresses without being connected. And you can make sure then that you're getting the right eyes on your messages and build an email campaign using the kind of tips that I've shown you in this video today, using GMass and that kind of thing. So is this a tool that you've used already? Is it something that is similar to kind of approaches that you've tried so far? Let me know if you've got any questions at all about using the tool, using this methodology, incorporating email into your own outreach. There's tons more that we can add and we will add over the coming weeks. Not so much on the cold email outreach, but on how to really start building our email lists and really start implementing email as a key value driver in business-to-business content marketing. So yeah, let me know if you want tagging in any of the other content we put in the group. Great to be here again. Let me know if there's any topics that you want me to go over. And I will see you in the next video very soon. All right, take it easy, guys. Bye-bye.